Hey, it's John from Tech Today, back with more on the Tech Today Pulse. So we added more data elements, made some enhancements to the tool, and everything points red for stocks, tech stocks, heading into earnings season. I'd say the enhancements fall into two main categories. We brought more macro indicators into the tool here. So here's on the left-hand side, the present value of those macro indicators. On the right-hand side, that's the change in the value since the last measurement period. Some of these indicators update daily, some monthly, some quarterly. These indicators default to sort of equal weights. You can move these weightings around to whatever sort of strikes your fancy. So if you wanted to give the VIX more of a weighting, 10-year Treasury less, Fed funds less, let's just say something like this. Software job postings more, maybe PCE a little less. And you want to ideally get that number, close to 100 or at 100. I think it turns to green when you're kind of exactly at 100, but you don't have to be exactly at 100. There we are. To run the tool, apply the weights. And then as you do that, it calibrates our score. And so we're in the moderate growth phase. The other big change we made, in addition to bringing in new macro indicators, is we brought heuristics into the tool. And we're calling those market insights. So under each macro indicator, whether it's real GDP, as you see here, or PCE, we bring in sort of a set of rules, and then we tell you where that indicator is at the current moment. Sort of a green box if it's a positive indicator, a red box if it's a negative. There's GDP, labor market, which I think a lot of people are going to be focusing on labor. GDP sort of lags. We haven't had a recent measurement. I like the Indeed element where it's we're capturing this daily. And if you look at sort of the heuristics for software developer job postings, still in negative territory here. And I don't know if that gets worse. I think the companies have been making cuts consistently. I don't know if the pace accelerates or if it just kind of stays in this range. We're at about negative 10% now. So if it's going to get worse, I think it gets worse here in the March quarter and then sort of level sets in the summer. So more to come on that, but this labor market tab is where I think a lot of investors are going to be focused this earnings season. We have our inflation metrics, CPI and PCEPI. Same deal with our heuristics, and sort of tells you, where we are. And you could kind of click through NASDAQ. Maybe we'll bring other software index in here, which obviously tracks very, very closely to the NASDAQ. So from a feature functionality perspective, here's PPI as it relates to software and data processing. Same type of deal there with market rules, monetary policy, Fed funds in the 10-year. I expect more weakness, frankly, as it relates to the 10-year yield. I don't think Treasury auctions are going to be particularly strong unless the Fed takes action on Fed funds, which it very well may, at the next FOMC meeting, which I believe is on May 7th. Market volatility, the VIX. So I think what's going to be next for us as it relates to the tool is to provide more sort of guidelines, heuristics, if you will, as it relates to these indicators for specific sectors. I've already done the work there. It's just a question of how we want to code it and present it in the tool. So that's probably next. Stock level indications will probably be a separate release. I think we'll break that up into two releases. And then once you have macro indicators tightly synced, if you will, or aligned with specific sectors, then I'll give users the ability to personalize Tech Today Pulse. So you'd create an account, and it's going to be a premium feature. I don't know what pricing is going to lie because I don't know what costs are on the back end. There's going to be a storage element and things like this. It's not going to be a Bloomberg terminal type price. But with personalization, you'll be able to set notifications and triggers around any of these indicators and others that we may add as it relates to specific sectors and eventually specific stocks. And you can get email notifications, in-app notifications, things like this in real time as these indicators change. You can set your own threshold so you don't get killed with noise. So I think it'll be quite useful. That's all for now. See you next time.